Oh, this podcast business is such a chore. Oh, I don't know why we do it. Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to Basement Quality Banter episode 21. Today I'm joined with Angus Grant to talk as we do every week. As promised, next week we do have our first of what I hope is many guests talking about their beers and some of their story. So, really looking forward to that and us pretending to know what we're doing while we're talking. So, make sure you listen to next week for sure. Have you got a beer this evening, Angus?
Dude, I was in the bottle shop and I saw these guys and can't go past it.
Can't go wrong with Crankshaft.
I was a bit dubious though, and I checked the package date when I got home, and it
Yeah.
was October last year
Ouch.
when it was packaged. And because I cracked it and I had one before and I cracked it, and I'm like, nah, it's not as punchy as it normally is.
Yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah.
let me check the date. Yeah,
Yeah. Bugger. Yeah.
so
Bugger. It'll probably still be just because of the quality of that beer. It'll probably still be good, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
well, the best before is October this year,
yeah. So give
so
it a
that's a
year.
year in the can. There, yeah.
Yeah, I'm having the very popular Moffat Beach Passenger Pale Ale, one of my favourite pales. Um, 5.2%, so it's a decent pale in terms of strength. It's got a bit of passion fruit, but it's also got a really nice malty body. It's won the Royal Queensland Awards a squillion times and lots of other trophies. Don't see too much Moffat Beach down here, but when I do, I'm always glad to grab it because um, it's just they just nail everything they do.
Yeah, I've never ever had a bad Moffat beer. And
Agreed.
something else which is probably a good kind of symbol of how good it is. Whenever there's Moffat Beach on tap at the beer awards,
Mm,
everyone's like vultures around it.
yeah, yeah. And in saying that, I don't think I've ever had a bad Benspoke as well. The-
No, no.
Yeah, yeah. They're I love their red nut. I love Sprocket. The cluster eight. I think they did a cluster 12. Um, yeah,
Yeah, that cluster 12 was big.
yeah. The terpene
It was
one that I had
big.
on the terps that was great.
Oh, yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's I've never had a bad one. Okay, so let's have a look at some stories. Let's go first to WA for something different. Beer
WAB news.
yeah, Beer Hall in Busselton, October 18 and 19. I've long said Busselton is one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. I wouldn't mind retiring there. I just love that place, especially when there's a brewery at the end of the jetty there at Shelter. They've put in a 600 person marquee for Oktoberfest. You buy a ticket, you get a stein and a pretzel on arrival, 20 taps, axe throwing, live music, and then you can bring your kids on the Sunday for a Sunday session, and they've got all activities for the kids as well. Um, just cool location, cool event, very uh, guilty that I cannot get there.
Oktoberfest and axe throwing. It's a courageous combination.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
8 steins in. Time to throw an axe.
Yeah, yeah. I brought my own. Yeah. Um, our number one
Yeah,
fan, our number one fan, Scott Eckford, came across this story and forwarded it to us. Playing white noise to beer has been shown to speed up fermentation by 20%. New research that he's done at Otago University in New Zealand. The Dr. Paris Adadi has completed his PhD playing sounds through a submersible speaker in fermentation tanks. The vibration keeps more yeast in suspension by consuming more sugar, and it speeds up the fermentation. He has studied fermentation for over a decade at universities in Ghana, Russia, and now Otago. I think it's a really interesting way of keeping yeast happy. I've heard of classical music being played next to wine barrels for similar results, known as musical fermentation. Some producers have been doing this sort of traditional method passed down for years even before they knew what yeast was, they knew that if they played music next to the wine barrels, there was, even maybe if it was a little bit of superstition, that's what they like to do. We've seen some heavy metal loving brewers also blast, big speakers next to fermentations to install that sort of angrier fermentation at both end of the musical spectrum. So I think it's interesting. It makes sense to have vibrations keeping fermentation going. The bit I don't like from the sound of it is a submersible speaker into the ferm tank.
Yeah, good luck sanitizing that.
How do you sanitize that? Run a current through it, keep the power. Yeah. Um, but he's done a PhD. He's obviously found out a way to do that. Yeah. Do you play music to your fermenting beers?
No, I don't actually.
Yeah.
That can you imagine him putting in his application for PhD? My idea is to submerge a speaker in beer fermentation and check out the results. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And he's like, what? I can't believe I got away with that.
Maybe he'd had a few beers and he had, well, what have I got left that I can do? Hey, I know. Let's put a bit of drum and
Yeah,
bass in. Well, apparently it's white noise that he does, but I reckon you'd get different results with different music. You might put the yeast to sleep if you put Enya in there or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of white noise, White Lies noise. So Lee Smiley out at White Lies, he's
yeah,
done quite a few brews for the Brewdito boys, and he's always had big speakers on his tank cranking, I don't know, sludge metal or whatever the latest thing those boys are interested in.
yeah. I
And
forgot about that.
they've done some pretty angry ferments,
Yeah,
10, 12. I think one of the beers was 14%. So
yep.
maybe there's something in the anger of the sludge metal.
But not to mention, most of the times on your brew deck, which is quite a noisy place, um, I've seen some decent sound systems while you're on the brew deck just to keep the team running, and they've got to have a bit of volume to get over the canning line or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, there might be two. Your music and fermentation, there might be something more to it. My last beer story, Australia's oldest Oktoberfest is coming soon to the Brisbane German Club. Has been running since 1975. I know all of our listeners are fans, and we are very keen on the German club. But this year they've taken it to another level. They've got Oktoberfest beers from all six Munich breweries coming, and
Nice.
which is an absolute score. And not only that, but they have to send all the empty kegs back to Munich.
Oh,
So they've got to take that.
jeez.
Yeah, so they've got to take that into account. But book your ticket, you get a half stein to keep and your first fill for free. They're doing it over, I think it's 3 or 4 weekends. As you expect, food, dress up, music, papas, but yeah, you should be able to get in. I think it's $40 if you're not a member. It's half price if you are a social club member or something like that. So um, I'd be really keen to try this. All six Munich breweries actually making it over with their beers. So I think that's
Yeah,
an
that's
absolute,
mad.
yeah. And as we've mentioned a few times, like what did we say? They're the biggest draft pourers of wine and Stefano in the world,
Yeah.
or
Brisbane
outside of
German Club.
Australia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
maybe not the first weekend. I reckon that'll be busy. But if you can pop in the second or third, maybe fourth weekends, I think you're going to have a really good time if there's beer left. That's for sure.
Yeah, let's do a field trip, eh?
We got to do it. We keep saying we're going to do things, and then stupid work and life and everything gets in the way. And
Yep.
you had a couple of non-alc stories.
Yeah, so interestingly, Coopers have announced that they have just released the hardest beer they've ever tried to brew, which is a non-alc Coopers Zero. So clocking in at below 0.5% ABV, which I think that's what qualifies as a non or low alc in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and 49 calories. So I don't actually know how many calories in a normal beer, but 49 doesn't sound like much.
So when I was brewing non-alc, the best I could get was around 79 calories. So that's pretty low.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess on that, yeah, the Cooper said that the beer that they're targeting consumers for is people trying to reduce their alcohol intake or watching their weight. So 49 calories is better than 70 calories and better than 300 or whatever a normal beer is.
What it
So
sounds
yeah,
like they've come up with is the first low carb non-alc. I think that's what they've managed to do because they've had Cooper's Birrell around for years, which has been their malt beverage. But this
yeah,
one, I
yeah,
think
that's right.
they've stepped it up with a lower malt bill. Yeah, I've seen it. Little silver cans, they look great. I'm going to have to try one. But like they said, which I'm really glad they said it because I've been saying it for 5 years. Non-alc beer is really hard to brew. I've had other breweries come and ask me to do some consultation, and basically I talk them out of it because of the steps involved, the dangers involved. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, keen to see how they go. And then you had one on Heaps Normal.
Heaps Normal. Yeah, so Heaps Normal has gained a new shareholder, none other than rock bad boy Robbie Williams. So story is that having quit alcohol 20 years ago, he's recent down at a tour, saw him drinking low and non-alcs, and one of those was Heaps Normal. He liked their brand and their culture. So I ended up FaceTiming the co-founder Andy Miller and to talk about a stake in the brand and being the figurehead of promoting their range in the UK.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's pretty massive. So yeah, they're already in the UK and the US, but having Robbie on board is only going to increase their reach in those two markets.
Non-alc in England when I was there a couple of years ago doesn't have the stigma it has here. People are starting to embrace it, but again, not as much as Europe. Europe's had non-alc on the menu for ages, but that wouldn't be surprised me that he had to FaceTime Andy. I think Andy lives in Singapore now. I could be wrong. Um, and as far as I know, it's still getting brewed at Brick Lane. I know they were.
Oh, really?
I know they were due to do a tap room at Marrickville, but I don't know if they ever got that up and running because you can't really put non-alc on tap. Um, and I was really keen to see how they were going to do that because if you've got glycol, it'll freeze it. You'd have to,
Oh, non-alcohol. Yeah, of course.
you'd have to ATP your lines every day. Um, yeah, yeah, you can't pasteurize a keg, or you can, but it'll be a big job unless you did like filter super fine filtering, which gets rid of all your flavoring and everything. So yeah, look, it's Robbie Williams. It's quite popular. 20 years not drinking is probably a good spokesman. There's actually shops in London um, that only sell non-alc as well. So yeah, I don't like the idea of them having a second round of fundraising. That's a bit scary.
Yeah, and if they don't have their own tap room or um, kind of venue or or their own brew kit or anything, so they raised 58 million in 2021, so 4 years ago.
Mm.
If they're looking at possibly doing a second round of fundraising, what the hell have they spent $58 million on? Marketing? Robbie Williams?
Yeah, yeah. They could possibly brew it there under license because that's sort of what they're doing with Brick Lane. Is Brick Lane's doing the hard work, so that would make sense to have fresh beer brewed there by another brewery. I don't know if they've got someone doing that in the US, but I do know that their packaging would have to be different in the US. You can't call it beer in the US non-alc. It has to be called near beer or malt beverage, and
Yeah, really.
then you also have to have a nutrition panel and things like that in US. They're what they want measured in their units as well. So
Is that for all beers or just the near beers?
yeah, just the near beers. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, really.
and you still have to have the Surgeon General's warning on there too. So it's It's got a really hard system over there to crack in. I know we had to do a lot of packaging changing when we sent some non-alcs to the US.
Okay.
And if we're in Western Sydney, we're going to go to the Polish Club.
Yeah, I wish I was in Sydney right near the Polish Club. Yeah, so they got a dinner and beer pairing with beer supplied by Chuck and Sons, which is the latest brewing effort from Australian beer industry stalwart Chuck Hahn. So they got a share plate menu, and they've paired 8 of Chuck's beers with the various choices. Um, yeah, many years ago, I went to a beer and food pairing hosted by Chuck Hahn in Brisbane. Was weird. It was at a like tiny little bar in the city,
Mm,
and yeah, I only kind of just knew who Chuck was at that stage because I was pretty early in my craft beer journey. And yeah, my favorite memory from that was one of the pairings for dessert was a double chocolate cake with a stout,
yeah,
and just listening to people like because there was about probably about 13 or 14 tables of couples and mates and things. I could hear them saying, "Oh, I didn't know beer could taste like that. I didn't know you could enjoy beer with food."
yeah.
Like, yeah, who knew that beer could be more than 2 degree fizzy, tasteless bubbles slamming down with half burnt coal snaggies off the barbecue? Who knew?
Yeah, I went to a couple of the Hop Thief launches with Chuck and Jim Hollers, who was with Lion, who's now with Heads of Noosa. Um, and I went to one of the dinners as well, and it wasn't long after they released James Squire Nine Tails, the Amber Ale, and they served that with rosemary crusted lamb chops and amber ale, and oh my goodness, that is and a creamy mash, nice broccolini. I think that's like my Green Mile last meal. I think would be that if they still did the amber ale. They don't. I don't
Yeah.
do it anymore. Yeah, look, I got invited to join Chuck Hunt's beer club this week actually, but they're only opening it up to 300 people. You get a mixed curated box every month. However, a lot of the benefits were for the brewery site in Sydney, so the numbers
Yeah.
didn't really sort of add up. Yeah, but yeah, Chuck's a legend of the industry, and that sounds like a really cool event. Oh, look, another week where we talk about mountain culture.
Yeah, maybe this could be the final one. Who knows? Um, yeah, so the Hobart venue officially opened last Friday. And so with that venue opening, they're now placed as Australia's fourth largest independent brewery. So they got venues in Katoomba, which that was their original venue, wasn't it? Katoomba up in the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
old Civic video. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Emu Plains, Redfern, Melbourne, Victoria, and now Hobart and Tasmania, and the shared venue with Wildflower and Marrickville. So yeah, they mentioned that Melbourne venue they only opened last month, and it is rapidly becoming their largest market. So it's been open a month, and it's already taken over. I can't imagine how many people would be kicking through Katoomba. Can't
No,
imagine there'd be
more of a
heaps of
tourist
people,
thing.
but
Emu Plains is more their production site. Yeah,
yeah.
Redfern was the old Atomic um, site.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Melbourne Fox Friday, Hobart Fox Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I love it. I'm scared. Have they gone too big? But yeah, very cool. Like you said, bucking the trends of
Yeah, really some mergers and acquisitions and I don't know problems existing. They seem to be going gangbusters.
and making
Particularly
great
if their
beer.
Melbourne venue's taken off. I can only imagine that Hobart will as well because the craft beer scene in Tassie is massive and
Oh,
like their tourism industry is brilliant in Tasmania.
yeah, Spotty
I
Dog,
can't.
and yeah, there's some great breweries down there. Duquesne is down there. Yeah. And how was your home brew day you had on Sunday?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Eventually, I had some problems with one of my heating elements. So I had to do some dodgy stuff to get my HLT up and running.
Yep.
So I was planning on starting the brew at about 9 o'clock, and I didn't kick off until 6.
Oh dear.
I just, I just delayed it, so I wasn't brewing through dinner with the kids. So started the mash at 6, and then just sat there by itself until 7:30 or so. Um, yeah, yeah, making I don't know if you remember Lukey Yapinen.
Mm,
So quite a few years ago, I got a faux lager recipe off him. So basically pale malt and then fermented with Nottingham at
yep.
about 16 degrees as a bit of a faux lager. Not a drops pretty hard, so you end up with a fairly clear beer.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, I ended up I think it was 2 points over gravity and 4 liters over volume. So yeah, it's a good day in my books.
Yeah. And the temperature, as long as it stays cool for a couple more weeks, will definitely help too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've got a glycol chiller for my system, so temperatures don't really matter, but
But
make it
you're
easier.
looking to upgrade in a couple of weeks, I heard.
Yeah, so I'm on I put a deposit down on a brewing system. They said early September. So I don't know if it's landed or not, but it was on the very, very slow boat from China. So
Yep.
early September apparently. So I got probably got one more brew on my 3 vessel system next week. Um Next week's my birthday, so I take a day off work and generally brew a big dumb Belgian beer.
Yep.
So I think next week I'll do a Belgian dark. One I made before ended up about 13.5%, but real sneaky, which is how I like my Belgians. So I'll probably brew that next week. And that will hopefully be the last brew on my 3 vessel, and then I'll get my new single vessel system. So that'll be
Sounds
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all the beer news we had. So you're just going to give us a Wallabies update.
Wallabies update. Yeah. Oh, what a very, very strange game. Did you watch it?
No, I saw highlights.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Springboks blew us off the park for the first 18 minutes. So we didn't even have, I don't think we even touched the ball. Like they were just running in tries left, right, and center. And it seems pretty common. A lot of people who got up at 1 o'clock to watch the first 20 minutes and went, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting around to watch this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so 18th minute, then the 19th minute, I don't know what happened, but the Springboks just absolutely dropped the ball. Um, I don't know whether like they just seemed really tired. So they played in Ellis Park, which is in Johannesburg, so quite high altitude.
Hmm.
So that's always been one of the struggles with teams that are flying in, is that altitude where the Springboks are apparently acclimated to the altitude,
Yeah.
and teams
Well,
coming in really
they do.
suffer with lack of oxygen and all that
They do
stuff.
altitude training, like wearing the masks before they go and everything too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Springboks absolutely gassed out. I think we scored 5 points in this, like the last bit of the first half. So the Springboks were in it then, but second half, I don't know what happened. Like they just weren't there to play anymore. They were gassed. They were jogging to rucks and malls. Our outside backs were just absolutely blasting past everyone. No cover defense. Yeah, it was really strange game. Really strange.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe
so I
maybe
don't,
maybe the bookies got into the rooms at half time or something.
there was a lot of rumors going around that there was a bit of match fixing going on, or what's the joke? Debbie or someone, the Springboks um, dietitian delivered the special food to the wrong change room. The food with all the steroids and juice and shit went to the Australians, and the
Yep.
Springboks got the standard stuff. Yeah, quite a few jokes getting thrown around.
Yeah. Oh,
But
especially when you see such a big change. Yeah.
yeah, they scored 38 points to 0 in 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and the Springboks didn't even. Well, I mean, they made a few breaks, but either Wallabies shut them down or the Box turned the ball over and the Wallabies ran it back for a try. They didn't really look like scoring in the last 20, 25 minutes. Yeah, yeah, really strange game.
Oh well,
Anyway,
all the
next game
Australians
is
will
back
say that
down at
we'll win against the All Blacks now.
oh yeah, the Australians are some Australian fans are we've got our hands on the Bledisloe now that we're gonna win it this year. But I'm like, jeez, calm down. Like
Yeah.
we competed against the Lions. We won the last game against the Lions. We beat the Springboks by a record score, but that wasn't the Springboks team. I don't know what happened, but that wasn't the Springboks, right?
Yeah.
So if we get through this weekend and if we beat the Springboks, then I think there'll be some hope to compete against the All Blacks. But I'm expecting a very, very angry Springboks team this weekend, and they'll be back. They'll be back to their smash and bash tactics.
Yep. They'll get delivered the
Bring
right
on
food. Yep.
yeah, deliver the right food. Bring on or replacing 700 kilos of forwards in the second half.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's going to be a cracking game this weekend. I hope Australia competes and is can walk off the field proud of how they've played.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be
So yeah, it's going to be an absolute cracker this weekend.
very cool. Oh well, that's us for this evening. Unless you had anything else.
Nope, that's all I had.
Lovely. We will try and be professional next week with our guest. And I've got some questions written down to make us look like we're actually prepared. So yeah,
Can you
looking
send
forward
some
to
to
it.
me?
Sorry.
Can you send some of your questions to me so I look professional as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll share the
Thanks, mate.
love. Share the love. Yeah. Ask him what beer is. No. Yeah. That will do. And I'll catch you next week.
All right. Thanks, Lucky. See ya.
Bye
See you,
all.
everyone.